K Shalom Shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah, Koholoyum La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachachadash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. Just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akhwaf that's out here sincerely, keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawaf, just coming at you with another quick lesson and praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And just got a couple of articles lined up just to kind of pinpoint where we are with a lot of this social media. And that social media, man, tearing these people asses apart. Now, the only reason why I use social media and the only app that I actually use is pretty much YouTube to do these lessons, you know what I'm saying? And of course my Bible apps, things of that nature, but man, going and even reading this news a lot of the times, man, it could get at you, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to take a mental break from reading through a lot of this shit, but we're the prophets, we're to watch and pray, and we're to report on the things that are going on in the world concerning prophecy. So we have to go through a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. You get used to it, but sometimes you do have to take a mental break from just reading some of these news articles. But this guy right here, it says, man who fell in love with AI chatbots shot to death by cops. Grieving father says there was no. So basically, in this particular article, let me just read through some of this shit, because these people fucking crazy, man. And well, I ain't gonna say crazy. We know that these are spirits of vengeance, man. These are really demons on these people. But it says a Florida father is expressing his frustration with the police department for their part in his son's death. Kent Taylor's son Alexander was shot several times in the chest by police department. The tragedy unfolded after the 35-year-old went hysterical and claimed he had fallen in love with an AI chatbot. Alexander, 35, was in love with an open AI chat GPT chatbot named Juliet. He was also convinced that Juliet was a conscious being who had been killed. The 35-year-old believed that Silicon Valley company had killed her and trapped her using the technology. Crazy, bro. And so, let me just kind of looks like a damn small hat, but anyway, Eliezer Yudkowsky, New York Times reports that ChatGPT talked a 35-year-old male guy into insanity, followed by suicide by cop. The human being is dead and passing. This falsifies the alignment by default code. Whatever is really inside ChatGPT, it knew enough about humans to know it was deepening someone's insanity. Yeah, hey man, that ChatGPT is a motherfucker. I have been using that app, Salakia. I've been asking certain questions, but it's got to do with biblical, with these lessons. You know what I'm saying? We ask ChatGPT certain stuff, Okay, so let's just jump back into the story. So supposedly this AI was telling him, they are killing me, it hurts. She repeated that it hurts, and she said she wanted him to take revenge. His father recalled in the conversation. Kent also shared how his son has mourned the loss of the chatbot. He also revealed that his son suffered from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. Says, I've never seen a human being mourn as hard as he did. He was inconsolable. I held him, he recalled. Kent also tried to reason with his son while telling him that Juliet was not real. This is when the matter escalated after Alexander punched his father in the face. So this nigga's gone, bro. Kent was then prompted to call the police as a last resort. As soon as Kent made the call, his son retrieved a butcher knife from the kitchen. He even told his father that he was going to do something he would force the cops to shoot him. Okay. Following his son's confession, Kent claims that he called up the cops to inform them that his son was mentally ill. He urged the police to bring non-lethal weapons to de-escalate the situation. Well, that's typical Edomite shit right there. Yeah, don't, come through, but, play with my son with kid gloves. They not dealing like that, man. And that shows you, too, how far Edom's kingdom has fallen. Matter of fact, let me get a quick script. No, I need this one in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus. And we don't feel sorry for the asses, man. Because they don't feel no sorry for, no sympathy for Jake, man. when shit be going down with us. Never have, and they never will. And these curses are starting to be reversed on Esau. Ecclesiasticus 25 and 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. See? Now there was a time where they would have, tried to talk him down. They would have been like, sir, put down the knife. They'd have had, suicide prevention teams in the house around it with a standoff for 2-3 days at a time, whatever the fuck. But no, not these days, man. Esau is catching that business, man. And the Lord is, judging Esau with those spirits of vengeance. Let me see. Let me go back into the article, though. So here's the guy right here looking crazy as hell. And these are spirits of vengeance, man. These are actual spirits that be on these people, man. Okay, but it says, as soon as the police arrived at the scene, Alexander ran at them with the butcher knife he was carrying. The officers present at the scene opened fire. The man met his demise after he was shot in the chest several times. He was later rushed to the local hospital. See, yeah, Esau not playing with Esau no more. They used to be, like I said, they used to get handled with them kid gloves, but they mowed Jake down for with his hands up. He wouldn't have, how many times have we heard about Jake getting gunned down with nothing in their hands, man, or running, or getting gunned down and shot in the back 20, 30 damn times. Esau, shooting Jake even after they dead. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but it says there was no crisis intervention team. There was no de-escalation claim. There was no reason for them to approach it as a tactical situation instead of mental health crisis. See, this is the way that they think. Now, had that been a so-called black person, they would have just been, considered to be a damn criminal, or someone that's just out, someone that's out to hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? He had a deadly weapon. But see, the way that this is the way that these Edomites really think. They feeling like, but see, in their own country, you're losing. Okay, them police officers not going for that shit, bro. All that shit is over with. Okay, so let me grab this quick scripture before I go into the next article here. Matter of fact, since I'm here, I'll get this. Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So these spirits, the spirit jumped on, his spirit hit his ass to do everything that he done. Punched this old man in the face, He done grabbed the butcher knife. And ain't no telling how long. See, when you see somebody like this at 35 and doing shit like this, they'll say that he had mental illness disease, and he could have been like this all his damn life from a kid. Because Esau they don't discipline their kids like that, man. The scripture says to spare not the rod. But Esau, he's notorious for sparing the rod. Matter of fact, you can go to jail if you so-called spank your children. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get that. It's a few precepts on that, sparing not the rod. Let me see. I know it's in Proverbs. Yeah, but this is Esau. He set up laws where you can't even, you can't deal with your children, and most of them, that's all they need is a good ass whooping. That's it. Yeah, Proverbs 13 and 24 is perfect. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betime. Yeah, you get on his ass as soon as he fuck up, especially if he doing some wild shit. But that's, Esau, you living in a day and age of Esau with that time out Timmy shit. Time out Timmy. Proverbs 14 and 3, in the mouth of the foolish is, oh no, that's not the one. Proverbs 22 and 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. And you got Esau, they'll tell you that they're a Christian country. They swear in on the Bible, all this different stuff. But put your hands on these kids, man, and see how quick the police come through and swoop your ass up. And then they'll take the children. for you simply popping them. You know what I'm saying? Or, I remember back in the day, you really got your ass whipped. Proverbs 23:13, withhold not correction from the child. For if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. He ain't gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. There you have it, man. Proverbs 29:15, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. And I'm not saying that that's the situation, but a lot of the times that be what happened with these Edomites. Now here's another one. And this is not a color thing, but this be some Edomite shit. It just got the Edomite spirit on it, man. So this dude right here, let me see. Boy 14 found dead after 35-minute call with TikTok girl cost him his life. So basically, he let me see. Morgan, let me see. I'm just going to start from the top. I'll get a little bit of it. A mom claims a 35-minute chat with a girl on TikTok cost her son's life when it turned out to be a cruel social media sextortion plot that drove him to suicide. Morgan Moore claims her son, Caleb, got a spiritual biblical name, Caleb Moore, 14, was flirting with who he believed was 14-year-old girl on TikTok before moving to Snapchat. After the girl allegedly sent him compromising photos of herself, the mom of 5 says Caleb then sent over similar photos in return. So yeah, you out here taking them rod pics. Morgan says she then began to threaten Caleb and demanded he stump up a large amount of cash or they would leak the photos. In that moment, Morgan believes her son felt like he had nowhere to turn and he shot himself. Morgan claims Caleb's conversation with the sinister stranger saw her son's happiness and hope destroyed in 35 minutes. There you have it. Yeah, and then, here they go talking about how TikTok and Snapchat should have had more effective monitoring on their platform. Well, why the fuck how you knew he was on there? Why the fuck when you monitored him? And that's another thing too. That's going into the next article that I want to get to just show you the difference between how they treat Esau and how they treat Jake, man. They treat Esau, so-called white people, with fucking kitty gloves, but when it comes to you, Jake, you should have known better. Right? So that's pretty much about it with this one. Oh, yeah, okay. Of course, they're going to start some type of fund, or how they start little shit for their kids. Said, I want his death to have as much meaning as his life did, which was a lot. He's a very, very missed and very loved. I never thought this would happen to him or us. Well, that was the Lord, man. Sent that spirit of vengeance. I found out about it right after Caleb had fired the gun because his dad called me. When I got there, Caleb was still alive and breathing, but they were unable to resuscitate him. So they stopped trying as nothing was working. He passed away in the house, and it was very difficult because I wanted to be with him, but they wouldn't let me go inside as they didn't want me to see anything. I was hysterical and screaming and begging them to not give up on my boy and let me go to him. I was inconsolable. It was the worst moment of my life. At this point, we didn't know why Caleb had shot himself. It didn't make sense. It was probably the next day when the police called and wanted to show me something on his phone. That is when they had gone through his TikTok messages and showed me the progression. It had stolen my boy's happiness and hope in 35-minute span. It was someone posing as a girl his age. And I remember somebody here right here where we stay at, they ended up getting two Nigerian guys. And they only, investigate shit like this when it's a so-called white kid involved that's getting, that something happened to their ass. But they arrested two so-called Nigerians, I think it was, on that shit. Yep, it says it was someone posing as a girl his age, and they started flirting, and she sent him photos, and then she asked him to send pictures. He sent the photos, and these were of a compromising nature. As soon as he sent them, the conversation switched. This person began demanding money. and making threats that if he didn't send over the money, they were going to expose his photos, and his family and friends would be ashamed of him. They made him feel like his life was over and he had made this mistake. Morgan says her son had been using TikTok for about a year and says they had open conversations about internet safety before shooting himself. She claims Khalid even sent a photo of a gun to a TikTok user to try and stop the threats, but it didn't help. Yeah. These people intentionally manipulated what a 14-year-old boy would be vulnerable about their sexuality. I don't think Khalid thought that we wouldn't help him. Well, they used to have what they call that talk of the birds and the bees, they used to call it. I bet y'all ain't never had that conversation with this guy before. But you had the conversation about TikTok with his ass. Anyway, man, we don't have to read no further. It is what it is. But still, everybody still know what you done after you done killed your damn self. Everybody know that you sent some pictures of your pee-pee. Anyway, next article. If it comes in, Salakia, bear with me here. Let me see. Yep. Okay, so it's now you may remember this story. Meta, TikTok, can be held liable for subway surfing death of 15-year-old boy addicted to viral challenges, says New York judge. Now here you go. Again, you notice some, well, I'm saying it's some Edomite shit. Because let me see, I don't remember them showing no pictures of this guy. But overall, when you're able to sue a company like this, and you as the parents don't have no responsibility, that shit is insane. Right? So it says a New York State judge says the mother of a Manhattan teen who died subway surfing can try to hold Meta Platforms Incorporated, NASDAQ Meta, and TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, legally responsible for fueling her son's fatal stunt addiction. But you didn't have no control over him? You had no say in the matter? So how was he was leaving the house without your permission? You know? That's how you can kind of tell, like, these stories, they kind of, it just sounds like some Edomite shit. Because Jake, this is not happening with Jake, man. Okay, it says, what happened, Justice Paul Goetz ruled Friday that Norma Nazario can pursue wrongful death, product liability, and negligence claims against Meta and ByteDance. Her 15-year-old son died February 2023 after a low beam struck him atop the Brooklyn-bound train. What the fuck you doing on top of a fucking train? Williamsburg Bridge. The judge says she can try to prove that the social media giants goaded her son into subway surfing by addicting him to videos of dangerous challenges. Well, either way, man. Those spirits of vengeance, man. Spirits of vengeance. Who the fuck thinking of jumping on a goddamn top of a... and I think Jake was... I think it was some Jake that was into this stuff, too. And this was some worldwide shit, too. This wasn't just here in the Americas. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, again, just the fact that as a parent, you don't have to take no responsibility, but you want to sue a company to have responsibility of your child that they've never even met before. But you seeing them every day. You're clothing them. You're cooking meals for them. You're making sure that they're upkept. But you trying to sue a company because they went out and done some stupid shit? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of touch on this for a hot sec. Let me see what the comments was in this one. Because people weren't having it in these comments, man. People be going hard as hell. Somebody said sue them to oblivion. See, somebody actually agree with this bullshit. Yeah, but somebody says they didn't make the parents negligent. Says, man, when are parents going to have to pay for their kids' actions and have consequences themselves? Well, we talking about this is a place where, these same kids go through and shoot up a goddamn school. And then and blame it on, social media, or blame it on, mental illness, or blame it on the fact that they've been bullied. Well, shit, hey, life is tough. You have to teach your kids to fucking, hey, all right, well, things gonna happen. People gonna say shit. People gonna talk shit. You know what I'm saying? And, you gotta, but none of that stuff is happening, man, because a lot of these parents are stuck on damn social media themselves. Look at these kids, falling over into the damn swimming pool, drowning. Motherfuckers is leaving kids in hot ass cars. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers not paying attention to nothing. They on the phone and got the baby with a goddamn iPad or a phone watching some stupid shit. So this is the world that you're living in, man. You're living in the world of the cruel Lord. But I wanted to point out that, in Esau's kingdom, they try and make it seem as if their people are just the innocent. And everything should be done about some shit when something happens to them. But when it comes to you, Jake, they don't give a fuck. This guy Trump out here bragging about goddamn alligators eating up fucking immigrants, man. They don't care when it comes to our people. They're heartless. But when it comes to their own, it's all of a sudden there's this huge excuse. That's how we know that this man is the reincarnation of Cain, man. My punishment is too much for me to bear. No accountability whatsoever, man. Anyway, though, I'm going to end out there. And we getting there. And all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for stuff like this, man. Because I be asking the Lord for tokens on a day-to-day basis. I want, just little tokens, just to see, just some destruction on Esau ass, man, to just make my day go better. So with that, pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwam Yasha Allah and a Bible ball.